I've been after a sheet metal foamer for quite a while. So I've been looking online trying to find one wanted that would fit what I need. But they're either massively too expensive or really cheap and look like they'll break the first time they see a piece of metal. So I decided to build myself one. So I set myself a target 50 quid. Because of everything that's going on at the moment, the only parts I could get were from the local DIY stores. So 50 quid for parts from DIY store, and this is what we built. So what we've got is some mild steel. So we've got angle iron, we've got some round 10 diameter metal tubing, we've got some flat bar, and we've got some box section as well. These here are from an old project that I did quite a while ago. It was mine has gone blank. This was for metal roller. The thing I need to do is I need to adjust the worktop on my workbench. So at the moment there's a bit of a lip here. As you can see, I've got a lip here that goes all the way along, so I just need to cut this off so I can make the angle iron flush against the workbench. That way I can screw it in, make it a bit tighter. So as you can see, I'm a little bit out of shape. So we've cut this section of the workbench out. It needs a bit of tidying up, which I'll do in a minute. But this is so this piece here can fit in flush. So we're effectively going for that. So I get a nice secure connection to also to the worktop as well, and I'm going to brace it on the back with a large lump of wood. So when I pull against that, it's pulling against the workbench, not the worktop. Should be good. So let's get this metal cut then. Drill the holes and counters on them as well, so we can drop the screws in and they will be flush with the angle iron. So this flat bar here is going to be what attaches to the brackets, because the brackets are actually bigger than the angle iron. Can't get any other angle iron at the moment due to everything that's going on. Okay, so we're going to have this flat bar and we'll screw it into the same piece of wood that this angle iron is screwed in, so it'll lock it all into place. We'll also add some screws into the angle iron as well, that way everything keeps together. Okay, so these are the hinges we're going to use, are just gate hinges, apart from B&Q. So what we want to do is take the angle iron off of this up to the hinges. So I've butted the hinges right up to this piece of wood, get them where we want, and then we can line up where we want the bending arm, which is going to be this angle iron, and then we can mark out where we want to cut. So I've cut hinges down so they line up perfectly with the angle iron. Filed it down so it's nice and smooth, and so everything's good there. Now we need to fit it to the angle iron on the bench. Mark the box section, just clamp it to the bench, keep everything nice and firm. So this is where I want the angle iron to be, so when it bends up, that's where I want the top of the hinge to be. So I've got 2 brackets, numbered about 1 and 2, just in case there's any tolerance issues with the hinges. And I know they'll go back perfectly where I want them to go. So, right, if we take number 1, I'm going to put this about here. So we'll mark the holes for that one. And number 2, I'm going to go about here. So I'm pretty much central, and I want them very close as well, so I don't get as much flex in them. It gives them more rigidity. So here we have drill the 2 holes, and so we can mount this here, like this, with the angle iron here, so we can bend and get what we need. So we've had a bit of a problem. I broke my cardinal rule of never wear inside, and now the hinges don't fit. So I was drilling the holes, and the drill slipped as I've drilled, so the drill holes don't match on both the hinges. Didn't realise until I drilled both, so I tried to recover one, and this is what happened. And to the point where I just realised it just wasn't right, wasn't going to work, and so we had to come up with plan B. And this is plan B. So we've upgraded the hinges, gone for a lot bigger hinge this time. I'm screwing straight into the workbench here. I've only fit them to the middle one at the moment. I'm going to mark them off now to do the bottom one and the top one. And then we'll have a nice secure fixture to the workbench itself. Okay, if you're wondering, that's just primer because that's been there for a few days. In a few days where I wasn't working on this, and you would start rusting out, because that's where I was filing it down and cutting it and drilling it and everything, so I didn't want it to rust out too much. So just needs one. So the bended bar is mounted. So that just attaches to the workbench via these screws. Probably a bit overkill using all 6 on each hinge, but to be sure. Need to change out these bolts as well, they're the wrong ones, but that's all I had at the time. So now we're going to start working on this bar. This bar is going to be the clamping bar. Just going to sit here. So this will clamp down the metal. You put your metal in, clamp it down onto there, and the bar will just come up, bend it, and away we go. Okay, I've got these for the handles for the lifting bars. So I'm going to use these wooden door knobs here, chop them out, and fit this bolt and recess it in here. Right, so this is what we have. I've got the clamping bar in with the 2 securing bolts. That is threaded into this bar here, but just come across a problem. Well, it's not a problem, it's just something I don't like. I'm going to have to lift this up every time to put my piece of metal in, where I can put it down and clamp it down. So I've decided I'm going to use a spring. Now I went to B&Q again, I found this self-closing gate spring. Now I'm hoping to strip this down, I can use the spring out of it to fit inside of here. The thoughts are, I've already bored this out ready, so the spring fits in here into the shaft of the bolt, and then I'm going to use 2 nuts and a washer to hold the spring in place, so just a little bit of the spring comes out, it can compress, and then it should spring back up, and then when I clamp back down, hold it tight. So here we go. So the spring fits in there nicely, and just need to cut it down now. So these are the handles for, these are the nose for the handles for the lifting bar. I'm just going to drill out the centre here, bore it out to 10mm, and then we're going to fit these rods. Cut them in half, so I've got 2, where's the other one? Here it is. So I've got 2 of them, so I've got 2 of these, bore them out to 10mm, glue them in place, and then I've got 2 nice lifting handles sprayed out black, should look good. So there we go. There's the 2 handles on the rods. Time to drill and tap the angle line. Spring cut down in the bolt. We've cut down the head of the knob as well and actually fitted that into the bolt. I just need to glue it down and probably cut down this bolt as well. So this fits in here. Try and get it in, and then the bolt goes in from the other side, clamps down onto the face, so I'll show you that in a minute. Got our clamping bar with our little wooden handles, and if we unscrew them, if you can see there, see the springs in there are actually creating a gap for us so we can slide it in. I don't need to bother about lifting it up or anything like that, because knowing me, I'd probably trap my finger and then clamp back down. So there we go, so let's stick some metal in it and see if we can bend it. So we've got some 2mm aluminium and some 1mm steel flat sheet, so we'll try that and see if it works. Okay, so do the clamps, put it in the bag of rags, slide it in, got something in the middle, that'll do. Go back a bit further, clamp it down, just hold it nice and tight, quick lift. There we go. Needs a little bit more. There you go, that worked pretty well. So that was 2mm aluminium, so let's try the steel. It's pretty much lined up. I'll just try a small piece. I need this for another project that I'm doing for the next video. So I'll just do a little bit on this one, but it shouldn't make any difference whether it's a big bit or a little bit. Let's see, I haven't tried it with steel, so who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't all ping out. There we go, bend that. It's not the tightest of bends. I think I'm going to be quite limited on what I can bend with this, whether it's just aluminium. So 1mm is probably its limit, isn't it? Might need a little bit more. Probably do that a few more times and actually get that a bit better. Might be able to put that in this way, see if that's any better. Maybe it was just because it was so small it didn't have enough to grab onto. Let's see. But yeah, that seems to done the job pretty well. Quite happy with that. So, be able to use that on my next project.